So I just got into a fight with my date. And
before this video starts, do not date. Don't waste your time dating. It's a waste of time.
I just left. So, long story short, I met a guy on the app like a week ago.
Here we go.
And we've been like talking on the phone a couple days this week. We agreed to meet up today, Friday at 7:30. I didn't hear from him today, the day of the date. We talked last night for like 10 minutes, but I didn't hear from him today. And I'm an anxious attachment girly. So, I need some reassurance today of like, especially for a first date. We've never met in person before. We met online. So I was like, I need to know that we're still going. So I'm trying to get out of my own way. So I text him, even though I didn't want to. I text him and I'm just like, hey, we're still going. Haven't talked to you today. So, I want to make sure we're, still on. And he's just, oh yeah, it's been a busy day. I can call you right now. And I'm just like, oh no, that's good. Like, I really appreciate it. That was a green flag to me that he, was like, oh no, it's just been busy. I can catch up with you right now. And so that was a green flag for me. But, I ended up getting ready. And I was running a few minutes behind, and I just told him, after I had sent that text, like, I have a 40-minute drive, so I just wanted to make sure, and that's important. So hold on to that. So I get ready. I'm a few minutes late. 7:30 we were supposed to meet up. 7:35 was about my ETA. So I'm communicating the entire time. I want to be the communicator that I want. I want people to communicate with me a certain way, so I communicate with them that way. So right. I'm communicating with him the whole time. He says he's there. I said, okay, I'm going to be there I'm pulling up in 5 minutes. I'm about to get off the highway. So then he tells me, oh, we have a 35-minute wait. We can go walk around the mall. Y'all are going to be pissed off at me probably, but I did what I did. I end up just telling him like, well, at first I was just like, I called him and I'm literally like pulling up if you're in the DMV area, I live in Baltimore County. We met up in Arundel Mills. So I'm pulling up and it's a complicated parking situation. And I'm just like, why was there no reservation made? Oh, I've been here multiple times. I never had to make a reservation. It's Friday. They're busy. It's a restaurant. Like, he's just like super aloof, just like, it's no big deal, whatever. And I'm just like, I drove 40 minutes. It is the evening. I am not interested in walking around the mall, like, while we wait another 40 minutes for our reservation. Like, and so I'm just like expressing my frustration to him and just saying like, I feel a little silly right now because I just drove a really long way and like you didn't even make a reservation. And so he's just like, well, just park, just get situated. Like, we'll like it's not that. Basically, just saying like it's not that big of a deal. And I'm just
so. This is an interesting one now. So she's late now. ETA 7:35. Date was at 7:30. That's if she's telling the truth, right? She did mention the parking situation. So I'm wondering, how long it would take her to park. But I'm not making an excuse for that. That's happened to me before in terms of going to a place normally. And then when you show up there, it's kind of like a wait or whatever. So usually places have a bar, right? And I wouldn't have said, let's walk around the mall. I'll say, hey, I'm at the bar. Hey, they are running a little behind. I've even said stuff because when a woman's been late, I've even said, hey, they gave away our reservations because you were late. It's pretty packed tonight. That's what I would have said. And I've done that before, too, because a woman has showed up late. And I was like, hey, they gave away the reservations, even though I didn't have reservations. And when I walked in there, it was packed. You feel me? So that's what I would have said. You know what I mean? But it would have either been the bar or that. But she drove that far. Mostly everywhere you're at nowadays is usually like a 30, 40-minute drive when you're going somewhere to meet someone, especially when in bigger cities. She's in the DMV area. So I'm not excusing that, but let's see how he handles it. And yes, she said he was aloof, nonchalant, indifferent, but let's get back to it.
It's not that, basically just saying like it's not that big of a deal. And I'm just like, it kind of is though, because I just drove a really long way and I just like, I feel a little played right now. And I'm just like, you know what? Let me take a beat. I was like, I think I'm not, I told him straight up, I'm not going to be a good date to you. I was like, I'm not really happy that I drove all this way and that like I have to wait 40 more minutes. And I was like, I'm just going to take that time and go back home. So I know y'all gonna probably think I was snobby for that, but
wow.
I'm sorry. We can blame it on me being hangry.
She looks like a BBW, so she probably was hangry. But as I say all the time, as men, now time being punctual is different, right? And it should have been just evened out somewhat, right? Because you were late. You weren't there on time. You weren't there 10 minutes. And women, you rarely have a woman that shows up on time, guys. So in terms of this, I would have been like, okay. You know what I mean? You can't deal with women like this. A lot of times, as men, we let women get away with so much stuff, and women think that they're doing you a favor a lot of times. That's why, bro, I'd be like, yo, you got to earn it, man. You have to earn it. I'm not saying that he should have planned better for sure. He should have been better at like, yo, hey, let's go to the bar real quick. Or he should have said something along those lines like, hey, you weren't here on time. They couldn't hold the table any longer. And that's that. It'll be a 30-minute wait because we weren't here on time. That's what I would have did. You know what I mean? But let's get back to it though. I'm just gonna have. That's how women are. They're like, yo, ain't nobody got time for that, man. Let her go, man. I was hungry.
Whatever, but I'm just like, I know myself, and like, we're already in the negatives. There's no reason for me to sit here and wait with this man knowing that I'm not going to give him a fair chance. I know myself. I said, let's just reschedule. I was like, I'm sorry. I'm just really frustrated about this. So he ends up, I hadn't even parked at that point. So I turned right back down.
She didn't even park
on the highway. And so he calls me and he's just like, well, I'll come to you. I'll drive 40 minutes to you. And, where can we go in your area? So half of me is like, okay, I appreciate the fact that you're trying to make this even.
And see, men will do that. You think a woman will do stuff like that? Women don't typically, when they mess up, they're just like, okay, whatever.
But also now I got to come up with some plans. And we're still probably going to have to fucking wait. I live in the suburbs, but still, like, so I'm like, I recognize that I'm frustrated in the moment, and I'm just like, let me take a beat for a second. Let me just like, I'm getting back on the highway. Let me just think for a second and figure out what my next plan is, because I'm fully dressed, makeup on, whatever. And I'm just like, let me take a beat for a second. And so, I'm thinking about just saying, you know what? He's saying that he wants to come off this way. I got a couple spots that I know that we can go to, but like, I just need to take a minute to like cool off. So I was going to just be chill about it or whatever. Then he presses the issue and it's like basically trying to chastise me for being upset. And that's when I was
of course.
I lost it. Because I'm just like, he was basically like, oh, well, if I had made a reservation and the restaurant was busy, what would you have done?
My point exactly. And that's what he should have did. That's what he should have said. Like, yo, restaurant's busy. They said it's going to be a little wait. Bam. But he wasn't thinking. Women, man, you have to reassure women. You have to take charge in situations, and you can't let it look a certain way. And obviously, this woman has little to no. She just wanted to go out and look pretty. She doesn't really care about this guy. I'm not talking about her looks, because looks is in the eye of the beholder. But bro was doing too much, and she showed up late. She showed up. She didn't even park yet, which is insane to me. She didn't even park. So, and when you get someplace, in my opinion, I'm thinking she probably was about 15 minutes out, right? Past that time. And parking takes you about, depending on where you're at, parking garage, if it's a busy area, 5 to 10 minutes to park. So he's doing the most for her, and she's taking it and she's loving it and eating it up, man. Let's go. I would have just left it alone. I'd have been, because women don't like to be held accountable, especially when you say, "Hey, you were late. You weren't here on time." But, buddy, if you ever come into a situation, that's what you tell her. Hey, they couldn't hold a reservations. This is a very strict place, so they gave our table to someone else. We'll just have to wait a few minutes.
And yeah, I was just like, are you being for real right now? If you made a reservation, we wouldn't have had to wait. If we had a reservation, that is the whole point of the reservation.
No, you're late.
And I was like, you're not being accountable. And now I'm actually getting mad. You know, like I'm actually getting angry because like instead of just saying,
You can see
hey,
why she's single.
we crossed wires. I didn't think there was a reservation needed. Let's try to figure something out. Like, instead of just leaving it at that, now you're trying to act like I'm wrong for being upset. And, like, it's not that big of a fucking deal. I really was. Going to accept his alternative, right? And because I'm really, really trying to like.
She's doing him a favor. She's doing him a favor. And guys, we have a tendency when we watch these videos to talk about a woman's looks, right? And you guys see, I don't usually try to do that, but it's like when the mouth and the looks don't match, and even so with pretty women, you shouldn't even allow it. But really, when a woman's not that attractive, you can't just be popping off like this. And the fact that you were late. And you can see why a lot of women are single now because of foolishness like this, man. Goodness.
Like, be a better human and a better girly. But I consider myself a reasonable person for the most part, but I just could not fucking believe you're sitting here trying to act like, well, what's the big deal? We would have had to wait anyway. No, we wouldn't. That's not the point of the reservation. And so now I'm just like,